This is our video on the apartheid.
I'm Lindsay. I'll be presenting the background information on apartheid.
I'm Chelsea. I'm doing what happened during the apartheid.
I'm Chloe, and I'll be presenting the aftermath of apartheid.
Apartheid started back when the English and the Dutch invaded South Africa. When diamonds were discovered in the 1900s, the English and Dutch invaded and sparked the Boer War between the Dutch and the British. The British won and gave the Dutch a piece of land in South Africa called Transvaal. The English settlers created apartheid to secure white domination and segregation between races in South Africa. Apartheid laws were created in 1948 and they were executed in the 1960s by the name of Grand Apartheid. Emphasizing territorial segregation and police repression, democracy didn't come about overnight. It was a long and difficult process. The coming about of democracy is described as being a miracle because it was thought that South Africa would never be civil and would turn into a violent war.
The African National Congress, known as the ANC, was made in 1912, and since then they'd been trying to negotiate with whites to negotiate with the South Africans to make it so Africans and whites had the same rights and were treated as human beings. In the 1970s and 80s, Nelson Mandela, who was in prison at the time that apartheid was going on, was having secret meetings with the government and ongoing meetings with the ANC and the Afrikaner people offering change. At this time, there was a stalemate on both sides and no progress towards freedom or equality was being made. Nelson Mandela was released from prison in 1990, and that's when the most intense negotiations to end the apartheid began, and they came to an agreement to make the Groot Schuur Minute, which was a commitment to end violence. On April 27, 1994, Black South Africans were able to vote for 2 days in a national election for the first time. The ANC, who were pro-ending the apartheid, won all provinces except the Western Cape and KwaZulu-Natal, but didn't win the two-thirds majority vote requirement to rewrite the Constitution. Even though there were new, better laws that made some equality, there was still not access to a lot of things such as schools, money, clothes, and jobs.
This new constitution is one of the most forward-thinking constitutions in the world, written simply, containing guarantees of equality. It talks about democracy, equality, responsibility, freedom, reconciliation, and diversity. The Bill of Rights confirmed individual liberties, higher education, decent housing to work and strike, access to information, equal rights for women, gay men, and lesbians, protection of children and the environment. Principle of the ratchet was incorporated into the Constitution. It states that even if the government cannot give everyone things like housing, schools, and water all at once, it must be able to show the court that those things are increasingly becoming more available. Transitioning into a democracy was a huge turning point in South Africa and world history. It ended 3 centuries of colonialism and finally ending the repressive and deeply racist apartheid government. While white supremacy was overturned by the majority rule, luckily without the bloodbath everyone expected. Thank you. That was our video.